Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.
I am Rachel Ruth Tate, and this is Text Astrology. Hello and happy whenever and wherever this is finding you. You are listening to Rachel Ruth, yours truly and truly your Central Texas astrologer, coming to you for another new moon edition of the Text Astrology podcast. In this episode, we are flowing and going over the new moon in Pisces, happening at just 1 degree of Pisces overnight, Monday, February 20th at 1:06 a.m. Central Standard Time. Monday being the moon's day. Did you know? Monday, yes, Montag in German, Lundi in French, Lunes in Spanish. All days of the week are named after and ruled by a traditional luminary or planet. Did you know? That academic amuse-bouche aside, this new moon is happening on the moon's day late at night in the 12th and last sign of the zodiac, Pisces, which is our mutable water sign ruled by Jupiter and represented by the dual fish. Pisces is literally Latin for fishes. See, you can already tell this is at least a somewhat jovial Jupiterian episode. Jupiter is the greater benefic, our collective good, the benefit we give and receive to and from our social memberships and groups, and our personal higher learning, attainment, and life purpose. You get it. And Pisces is Jupiter's yin or receptive expression. Think received wisdom. So my use of Latin and the etymology of the multilingual names of the days of the week in crafting this new moon in Pisces episode is quite on theme, higher learning. But I also personally have a natal moon and Mars in Pisces, so don't mind me over here trying to actively express the elegance of the wisdom I have received. And we shall indeed all receive some uniquely meaningful inner messages and potentially profound wisdom this new moon in Pisces, as it is happening with Venus, exaltation lord of Pisces, aka a Piscean goddess with superb grace while she flows through the sign. Venus is still in her favorite house at the time the moon is new, at 29 degrees of Pisces, setting a somewhat sweeter tone for the next 2 weeks. Truly, the space between 29 and 30 degrees of any sign is special, especially the last one. And in general, the last degree is called the anaretic degree in astrology. The anaretic degree is, well, intense because it anticipates the state change that happens when 30 degrees of one sign becomes 0 degrees of another. and the element changes. As matter changes state, it experiences a threshold upon which that change actually occurs. The freezing point, the melting point, you get it. Venus is there, just before that boundary line, fully equipped and elegantly fashioned, inside of her own sign of exaltation or best work, mutable water Pisces. But she is anticipating her entrance into her sign of fall. Cardinal fire Aries, the first sign in the zodiac, and the sign right after Pisces. But like any element to any other, like any state of matter, condensation, gas to liquid, that's Aquarius to Pisces, and then the vaporization and ionization that takes place in liquid Pisces going into the plasmatic Aries, that literal state change is actually physically intense. But what does that mean, Rachel? Well, over this next and quite active lunar cycle, our hearts are hopeful. But our personal desire for change and more pleasure and passion has our emotions and spirits almost to a bubble and boil. Excited molecules, charged particles. Our world aesthetic is novelty and breaking free from the seemingly magnetic bonds of our social emotional lives that have been somehow weighing us down like a stone of late. The Saturn in Aquarius stuff, that was our last new moon. Saturn at 28 degrees of Aquarius is actually making the closest aspect to this lunation, however, of any planet or point as well. So there will be a Saturnian flavor, with the moon just separating from a conjunction with Saturn, only about 3 degrees away, even though Saturn is across the sign boundary line in Aquarius. And that fact, it's really quite instructive. Of course, Saturn-flavored Jupiter is instructive. Anyhow, this lunation is actually our last new moon in Pisces for several years without Saturn being co-present in Pisces, as Saturn leaves Aquarius where it is now and enters Pisces in March of this year. So perhaps notice what feels incoming and impending in this fluid cosmic environment that seems to be accelerating in its flow towards future change and present evolution. Whatever is being born, new moon stuff, birth. In this part of your chart, that is going to begin to come of age, Saturn stuff. That is going to make the next 3 years of new and full moons here in Pisces more sober in their emotional and spiritual tenor than flowy Jupiterian Pisces typically enjoys. Watch out for any ghosting and flaking this lunar cycle and for the upcoming 3 years. Saturn, the disciplinarian, does not take well to bad habits and shirking duties or not showing up. It doesn't benefit all beings, right? And Jupiter wants to. I know, I'm getting a bit serious. The Pisces stuff is all about to get a bit serious, you see. We are being primed for Saturn's ingress with this exalted Venus in her intense anaretic degree this new moon. Remember, Saturn exalts in Libra, Venus's sign, as love. Venus is both a blessing and a burden, as are responsibility and ownership, Saturn stuff. Blessing and a burden. We prayed for most of the problems we have now at this point, right? Venus and Saturn have some things in common, y'all, for real. So even though this is a Jupiterian lunation, I really still can't get off Saturn and Venus, especially with both so tied to the syzygy by aspect, cycle, and co-presence. But outside of the planetary flavors in this new moon in Pisces soup, there is also the moon's own triplicity rulership in water signs, of which Pisces is the mutable one. These are night sect receptive, intimate signs, the water signs are, and all waters are greatly tied to the moon. Just ask the ocean tides and menstruating women. So we have this deeply felt, spiritually intense new moon in Pisces, a precursor to weighty Saturn's entrance into the sign. The dark moon, now powerful in its own ability, with an amped up exaltation Lord Venus in her anaretic degree of the same sign lending support, about to be sort of violently reborn in the first sign of the zodiac, like a phoenix rising from ashes, joining up with Jupiter, the new moon's ruler, in fiery and passionate Aries very soon, where it is. It's like this, ultimately. I'm going to summarize and kind of set aside the astrology for a second. I know I just gave you a lot. We are all, and each, the universe experiencing itself. As we do, we become more and more aware of both the duality and the unity of all things, self and other, and how perfectly the fabric of it all is woven together. There is an active surrender one must do to the mystery and the miracle that a new moon in Pisces always brings. New layers of discovered awareness, new states of consciousness, whatever evolution allows us to see the beauty in life, the truth of the divine, in the glory and meaning of it all, the samadhi and the samsara. Each has an equal and opposite. Jupiter has a Saturn. Venus has a Mars. Suns have moons. And that's not only okay, it just is. It's isness. So allow, witness, hold, and honor it all this new moon. All of what comes your way can be and is sacred, even the strange bits. But for now, simply enjoy the following horoscopes for each sign individually. Since Pisces is a wild mystic, a Pisces moon Mars would know, our horoscopes this week are going to be aphorisms. Just call me Rach Sop. Okay, bad joke. Anyway, I use rising signs for my horoscopes as the ascendant speaks to the first house of your literal self. But your sun or moon sign is fine if that's your jam. So, this new moon in Pisces syzygy for all 12 signs. Aries. Healing travels from the inside out. Taurus. An example sets itself out of belief. Gemini. Public life reflects personal journey. Cancer. Enlightenment is best shared. Leo. Ours is more than mine and yours. Virgo. Labors are always a part of love. Libra. There is divine in the mundane. Scorpio. We create things as we are. Sagittarius. The bud implies the bloom. Capricorn. We must both know and make known. Aquarius. Start as you mean to continue. Pisces. You are the prayer and the answer. Let those somewhat abstract horoscopes wash over your mind as we take a short break for a word from our sponsors.
Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips. Get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
And here we are back with even more text astrology. After the new moon breakdown, you know it's time to transition into our top 3 transits and alignments. To watch between now and the next full moon, let's dive right in because our first transit, Venus in Aries, would for sure. The first transit, Venus, enters Aries just minutes after the moon is officially new on Monday, February 20th at 1:53 a.m. Central Standard Time. Aries being the sign of her detriment or difficulty, where Venus will remain until she saunters out of the sign and enters Taurus next month on March 16th. Sauntering is definitely an Aries-Taurus cusp thing. Anyway, Venus, our lesser benefic or individual good, represents that which we desire, the nature of our aesthetic, our personal understanding of pleasure, and the general unionizing force of attraction that brings things together. That is Venus. What do you/we like, and how do we like it? What is love? What is beauty? You get it. Eye of the beholder with these yummy things, hence all the different flavors. And Venus is in Aries, the first sign in the zodiac, our cardinal fire sign, represented by the ram and ruled by Mars. And that's pretty damn yummy as well. Just not in that plush, idyllic, Taurian sort of pure, lovely way. It's more spicy and breathtakingly hot. Let me give you a taste. Venus in Aries is heavy with the wasabi. She does cask strength whiskey neat. She likes horseradish in her aioli and plenty of chile in her salsa, red pepper in her curry. You get me, she's bold. And side note, I also have a natal Venus in Aries with a Sun, Mercury, and Taurus, hence these food-related examples. If you get it, you get it. Anyway, things can get too hot to handle, however, in Martial Aries for sweet Venus. This is the detriment part, the difficulty. Ready, fire, aim, the excited and brave Aries mantra, does not always lead to premium pleasure. Truth be told, Aries likes its pleasure a little painful as well, like adrenaline junkie style. Like my joy on the daily as a young woman was to ride my murdered out black Vespa along the PCH 405, 101, you name it. You couldn't get me inside of a car, not even if it rained. And that can really, really backfire, right? Venus in Aries wants to feel alive, but often we don't sense the life inside of us quite so much until we scrape against death or fly off said scooter at 45 miles an hour across Sepulveda, across several lanes of traffic, or getting held up at knife point in the middle of the jungle, or marrying somebody who tries to kill you, or hitchhiking to the airport in foreign cities. Yes, those are all true stories about me, the Venus in Aries, but it's a Venus in Aries thing to be extremely passionate, headstrong, fierce, brave, and generally experience love as a battlefield. Let me give you some celebrity examples instead of just using me, and it will become more clear. We have amongst the Venus and Aries natives, Marilyn Monroe, Angelina Jolie, Rihanna, Elizabeth Taylor, Bob Marley, Jack Nicholson, George Clooney, Janet Jackson, Jane Mansfield, Lady Gaga. Tell me their torrid love lives aren't almost as infamous as they are famous on the whole, but all of these people are noted for their passion, and many for the intimate partner violence that impacted most of their lives. Because true love is not an achievement as much as fiery Martial Aries wants to win at life and every contest within it. There is no being first with contentment, no forcing of beautiful things to happen. You cannot make love. So what to do with these 3 weeks then, Rachel? 3 words. Enjoy the enjoyable. Our dear friend Jupiter, the other and greater benefic, ruling this new moon in Pisces, it is also co-present in Aries, and Venus will make a connection with it not too long after it ingresses into the sign, which we will talk more about in a hot second. But we will have all of our potential and experienced goods, if you will, all the positives, they'll take on that similar style. Arian. Active, bold, dynamic, impulsive, zesty, brave, exciting, direct, raw, primal. So let that sort of energy into your life where and how it makes sense. Just do what lights you up. Burn bright where you're meant to shine. The world needs it right now, guys. These are dark and somewhat stormy times. So put your heart and your mind, Aries rules the head, into it for the weeks that this transit is in effect. Especially because Mars, the ruler of Aries, is currently in Gemini, Mercury sign, the chatting twins, the thought, and the exchange. So all of our positive and social and personal beneficial experiences and pleasures, those will be a bit mental as well as active. I get the feeling we will all be enjoying the forward progress we are making on some of the issues that have been creating anxiety within us since last August when Mars entered Gemini. Luckily, Gemini and Aries form a sextile by sign, an angle of the nature of Venus that provides an easy 60-degree pathway between signs of like polarity, like fire and air, the yang. And Aries is about that very yang style forward progress, forward march. It's cardinal, it's fire. Just like Venus and Aries natives Bob Marley and Lady Gaga are iconic for their progressive personal musical styles and maverick brands, their taste making, Venus and Aries really wants you to do something about it, whatever it is. So do. Like, this is a great time to tell your crush you like them. Try the art you've always wanted to dabble in. Take that trip you felt you weren't ever ready for. Get that cert or apply for the pie in the sky degree. Send in your resume for that wild reach job that speaks to the fire in your soul. Slide into a celebrity's DMs on Instagram you've always admired. Begin the movement practice that you dreamed you'd have. That's the zesty, convivial, confident joy of Aries. To live it is to love it, and definitely watch out for going overboard during this time, as Jupiter can be expansive and Venus is having a difficult time. This means we can blow things out of proportion. So we have to think and then act, especially on the day that this next transit happens. Second transit. Venus conjoins Jupiter at 12 degrees of Aries late on Wednesday evening, March 1st at 11:35 p.m. Central Standard Time. The two benefic planets actually remain within a degree of each other, so conjunct for just over 24 hours. So expect this lovely feeling transit to sweeten the whole of your waking Thursday, March 2nd as well. But things could swell to some sort of a fever pitch. This is Jupiter, Venus, and Mars. So be alert for high temperatures and dramatic crescendos. That said, this transit is just too juicy to skip over, hence I am not. Benefic on benefic action is hard to hate on. And even though Venus is in detriment here in Aries, like I've said, Jupiter is at least the nighttime triplicity ruler, and this combo, remember, conjunctions form the strongest blend of two energies, an aspect of functional fusion. So this combo of Jupiter and Venus is hella sexy, especially as it happens overnight on Jupiter's day, Thursday being Jueves in Spanish, Jeudi in French. Yes, Jove or Jupiter's day, adding a slight sprinkle of auspiciousness. So, what to do with such a day? Well, for one, Venus conjunct Jupiter in Aries is definitely active enjoyment. So get up and at 'em, moving your body to places and in ways that just feel right. Surf the high spirits and self-direct towards what has you feeling uplifted, especially given the somewhat sober tone of this Jupiterian new moon in Pisces lunation. So just let joy and passion and ardor carry you here. Carry you where? Well, that is the cardinal question, pun totally intended. Frankly, hopefully it takes us all somewhere out of the anxious mental tailspin we have been in since Mars stationed retrograde in October. Remember, all the stuff in Aries is ultimately ruled by Mars. And when we keep going with rulership, who has the final say here? Well, we know Mars is in Gemini, ruled by Mercury, who is in Aquarius at this juncture and is, yes, ultimately still ruled by Saturn, Mercury being at 29 degrees of Aquarius, the anaretic degree. This implies some state change all over the place, folks. Even this Venus-Jupiter conjunction feels like airborne Aquarian Saturn about to condense into Piscean sentiment. I'm feeling like maybe this Venus-Jupiter conjunction in Aries is going to have a large case of the fuckets. Totally out of fucks to give and needing to blow off some steam is what this rulership tree feels like to me, a response to Saturn. We are so tired of this heavy social regulation obligation bullshit, Saturn, Aquarius, that is cramping our style and robbing us of the joie de vivre that is Venus/Jupiter in the self-oriented sign of Aries. So today, use this steamy, sexy conjunction to just plain make yourself happy. Do real pleasure stuff. Seek aliveness against the pallor of the gray background. Live a little, if only for the day. As Aries would totally say, YOLO. And you can be more strategic and less freewheeling about this transit if that feels right to you. I might actually recommend it. Use it to assert yourself in places you wished you had the confidence to, doing things you wish you could, knowing anything hard that could come up, it's bound to be easier on such a good day as this Venus-Jupiter conjunction. Reach out to a mentor or friend for help, and you'll be able to get more good help than usual. Submit a piece of art to a contest, you'll be more likely to win. Represent your own interests here. This is Aries. Play to win. Allow yourself to strive and reach for the sun, which exalts in Aries. But no need for any Icarus action. Know when the big benefic fire party is getting beneath your collar and lose some altitude before you burn out or melt down. There can, after all, be too much of a good thing. Speaking of, Mercury enters Pisces on Thursday, March 2nd at 4:49 p.m. Central Standard Time, where it will remain until it crosses the sign boundary and restarts the zodiac in Aries a couple of weeks later on March 18th. Just one day after our sweet Venus-Jupiter conjunction we were just chatting about, we have Mercury entering Jupiter's house. Mutable water Pisces being Mercury's sign of both fall and detriment as well. Yeah, that's actually double suck there. Fall and detriment. So not the easiest waters for our minds to swim amidst, those Piscean waves and eddies and whirlpools. Thoughts, communication, and commerce can get scrambled in the soup and the slush. We want thought bubbles, not bubbling thoughts, right? And like I said, Pisces is the mystic, the twin fish, the final sign, the received Jupiterian wisdom about the mystery and miracle of all that is. And damn, that's really hard to translate into words. Look at the controversy around our religious texts and their translation, for God's sakes. How many heads have rolled in the name of the divine and over the divine name? Too many. And that is the rub with Mercury here. Our own capacity to read and understand what is going on, it's not easy here. It's like trying to work with your head underwater, swimming with intuition and perhaps psychic messages from your guides, right? And the waves of emotion from all around, felt and sensed, crashing between your brows. Mercury in Pisces is that sort of sloshy mindedness, and it makes precision and accuracy a distinct challenge, to put it mildly. So maybe don't do your taxes during this transit. If you hear this podcast before Mercury leaves Aquarius, do them then. Do them now. Or wait for Mercury in Aries or Taurus. But this Mercury in Pisces is not the time. Do not sign big contracts or take out loans or whatever. Not now. Especially not with Neptune, the great dissolver, and giant fog machines still mucking about, co-present there at the end. And Saturn's about to head into Pisces in a few days. We could make some grave errors. Saturn moving into Pisces with Mercury there, to me, is grave errors. And intention is not what counts with the IRS, right? But intention is one of the most powerful ways we can harness this Mercury in Pisces transit. Everything is good for something. And this is good for getting inspired, for connecting with higher power, for creating unimaginable beauty, for fantasy and exploration of spirituality. If you're going to have a seance or use your Ouija board, this is for sure the Mercury for that. For getting weird with it, right? Mercury in Pisces is weird as fuck. So let your freak flag fly. Shit. But make sure not to take yourself or your out of the ordinary conversations throughout this transit too seriously. Mercury in Pisces always feels like everybody is a little drunk or high to me, personally. Slap happy, shit doesn't matter, rolls off the shoulders kind of vibe. Inhibition's lowered, and that can be a big hazard or a great blessing. And that's why I said in the last Venus-Jupiter conjunction bit to ask your crush out or make a grand gesture. This can be the Mercury for that, guys, right? 5 p.m. rolls around and maybe you suggest your cute colleague join you for dinner or drinks on this day that Mercury ingresses, or ask your spouse or partner on a date, and know that you're going to blow their socks off with that Mercury in Pisces shamelessness and the Venus-Jupiter in Aries pure potent sexuality. I feel like the sex is going to be so hot. So have sex on the 2nd of March. If you're in a sexual relationship, for sure do it. Pisces can do sex and intoxicants very well, which is why we also have to use moderation. That is not one of Pisces' strong points. It will help to plan out a lot of your necessary tasks through the 18th, so for these next couple weeks, so that you don't have to use that Mercury to make material decisions that will tangibly affect your present or future fortunes during this time. Mercury in Pisces is for spiritual evolution and unity consciousness and art making and love making, you dig? Keep in mind that Mercury links up with Saturn like a couple of hours before it changes signs, entering Pisces. Actually, though. So Mercury's still going to have that serious shit, but it's going to give way to letting that shit go here. The sober-mindedness should lift with Mercury heading into Pisces, and no worrying doesn't solve problems here. Just remember that. Be mindful of how much time you spend ruminating and let this transit change the internal tone and begin to find any faith that you might have lost recently. Mercury in Pisces, that's what it's for. Because keeping faith is what Jupiter is all about and what this new moon in Pisces really means. Speaking of, let's take that opportunity to transition into the upcoming quality of time. The next 2 weeks following this new moon in Pisces lunation will be stimulating, fervent, fluid, passionate, and profound. Which brings us to our do's and don'ts for this new moon in Pisces syzygy. Do enjoy yourself and practice contentment within the present moment. There's a lot to be grateful for. Don't overindulge or lose your head entirely. It is as easy to go over the edge as it is to find it. Do keep your eyes on the prize and long-term goals in your mind, even if you don't achieve them today. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't fuck off entirely or goof around to the point that stuff is seriously undone and messed up. Patience is not procrastination. Do show some brotherly love to your fellow humans. Stuff has been and continues to be crazy, so be the blessing you want to see. Don't forget to moderate your behavior at the extremes. No need to be slutting around or confusing a facsimile of intimacy with the real thing. That will just hurt. And as always, please like, subscribe to, rate, comment on, and share Text Astrology on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, or wherever you connect with your community. And with that, we have the end of this new moon in Pisces edition of the show. Go with the flow and enjoy its grace and a modicum of ease as we collectively soak up this new moon. That's it for this episode, folks. Meet me here every full and new moon for more cosmic wisdom. For now, you can find me on Instagram at Rachel Ruth Tate and at Text Astrology, or between the pages of my book, Meditations on Being. Available on Amazon and wherever else you purchase books.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.
Life can change in an instant. For many wheelchair users, the struggle to push forward is a daily challenge.
After years of development and countless prototypes, we created Rib Grips, the revolutionary wheelchair hand rim covers with built-in ribs for ultimate grip and comfort.
No more slick surfaces, no more heat burns, just pure, reliable grip. Rib Grips, empowering you to push forward with ease. Rib Grips, get a grip on your freedom. Discover the difference. Visit ribgrips.com and use promo code GRIP today.
In a world where dreams meet reality, there exists a place where your business can flourish. That place is Shopify. Imagine having the power to craft your online store with tools that make it as easy as a gentle breeze. Whether you're an artisan of handmade wonders, a creator of digital treasures, or a curator of the latest trends, Shopify stands by your side. With its customizable templates, seamless integrations, and support that's always there, your dream store is just a heartbeat away. Join millions of visionaries around the globe and let Shopify guide you on your journey. Visit roguemedianetwork.com/Shopify. That's roguemedianetwork.com/SHOPIFY. And embark on your free trial. Shopify, where your commerce dreams come to life.